Welcome back to the Moment of Truth with DNAngels. My name is Tess McIntosh, and joining me today is Jennifer, and we are getting ready to share with Jennifer the results of her search for her biological father. Jennifer, do you want to tell us a little bit about your story and what brought you to DNAngels?
Sure. I was adopted when I was 4 years old with my biological brother. We were 2 of 7. We thought originally 7, but then there was an 8th child that found my biological mom that she had given up when she was in high school. So I was the last of 8 children to a mother that, as far as we know, all had different fathers. My mom was married at one point, not to anybody that I knew, but I was lucky enough to, when I was adopted, my biological mom's sister, so adopted, my aunt and uncle adopted my brother and I. We were the youngest. We were kept together in foster care. So I was in foster care from about the time I was a year old till I was adopted, and I was 4 and he was 5. My biological mom, I've known my whole life because she was, my adopted parents were family. So my biological mom and her sister. So she moved to our town when I was about 6 years old and lived there the rest of her life. She passed away at age 65. And so I never got an opportunity to ask her who my father was. And because there were so many children, I was always concerned that she would say, I don't know. And so I never got the courage to ask her. And I didn't want to bring up any sore or hard feelings for her. So I'm 46, almost 47. It's been a really long time. I wish I would have done this years ago.
I know you said that I saw in your intake that one of your biggest concerns was that you had waited too long and that maybe your biological father is deceased. The good news is every indication is that he is alive, and his name is Dan. I'll give you his last name privately. And it appears that he goes by Danny his whole life. Everyone calls him Danny. It looks like it's on everything. And he comes from a Myers line that comes out of Virginia. When I was working with the DNA, everything was in Virginia. And then I was digging around and found this article. I was digging around where I thought you should be in the family. And there was this article in the newspaper for where you were born, in the town you were born in, welcoming Dan and his current wife into town. And moving also with him was 2 of his half-siblings who are a great deal younger than him. And there was literally an article welcoming him into where you were born in 1973. The article's from 1973. So that's when he moved to that town. And at that point was married. I don't know. It doesn't look like he stayed married to that person. So Dan is it looks like he's currently living in Pennsylvania and is 74. And so in that article, and the other thing was I haven't been able to find any known children for him. It doesn't look like I haven't been able to find any. And I found your grandmother's obituary, and it says she has 3 children and only 3 grandchildren. So it may be right that he just doesn't have any known children. And then he married another woman. And it's so funny because he actually ended up marrying her twice. I found that they got married twice, 15 years apart. They got a divorce and then got remarried. And that may be who he's currently still married to. And her name is Jeanette.
Wow.
And I have a picture of him from high school. Would you like me to send it to you? I will send that over right now. I have it ready for you. All right. It went into our chat room, so you can take a look.
Wow. So cool.
How does it feel?
Disbelief after all this time. It's been a long time. I joined Ancestry a number of years ago after a really close friend of mine discovered that her biological father was not her biological father, or who she thought it was. And so that whole thing, I was like, no, I have to do it because of the results that she had. And I joined, and I just don't know how to dig. I don't know how to get into all of that. And so I did a little bit. I reached out to a few people, and I just hit so many dead ends. And I was just like, well, that's in the past. And so I don't know where to go from here with this information, but I'm
so glad you found us.
I am too. It's thanks to a podcast that I listened to, and I heard this, and I immediately thought, why didn't I know about this organization so many years ago when I started Ancestry DNA?
Yeah.
And so I was so happy to reach out and learn that y'all would take my case. And I can't even tell you, what was it, a week? I don't know. I felt like it was just so fast. And so I don't have any expectations of a relationship, but just to know who he is, and potentially if he's ever interested in knowing about me, that's some avenues I'd like to pursue.
Well, part of today, we don't want another day to go by without you having a way to contact him. So privately, I will be giving you all of that information, and we can help you walk through the process and help reach out for you. We can walk you through the process so that you can reach out, whatever you're more comfortable with. You can see where the rest of this journey goes.
So many people in my life know about this, and when I shared that I had gotten the information that you found him, they were all crying with joy for me.
That's so nice. I'm going to cry with you.
I had a very rough childhood because I knew that I was adopted. I didn't know anybody but my mom. And so I made it really hard sometimes for my aunt and uncle who adopted us. And I have apologized for my behavior as a child for years, but being in foster care when you're really young, you remember some horrific details. And I have been trying to overcome a lot of things because of this my whole life. And so I'm just so happy that I finally was able to do this.
Well, part of the information that I'm going to give you off screen is that you have 2 aunts, and I'm actually giving you their contact information also. They're about 20 years younger than Dan, but there's 2 sisters. He has 2 half siblings that are sisters, and I have contact information for them too. So you're going to have even more family, hopefully, that will you get to know. And so
it's just going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I don't know how this works for people in these situations and what kind of relationships are forged. And I suppose it's every situation is different.
It is.
And so the fact that this person, my dad doesn't have potentially any other children, he might be really happy.
Definitely. We never know. We get all kinds of stories back from our clients. And I think ultimately having the truth, though, can be really healing. But it will allow you to help move forward. I think having that truth and
well, even just to hear what kind of relationship he had with my mom. My mom was a fantastic woman. She was a lot of fun. People loved her. She died when she was 65 years old. She was so young. I'm so sad that she's not around to meet my son and for him to meet her. And so it'll be interesting if I could ever get any stories of how they met and how much time they spent together and anything. Yeah. It's just, there's so many questions.
Well, you'll have to give us updates
for sure.
So that we know. We would love to hear it. And so we're going to end this part, and I'm going to give you all your details privately in a chat room with all your information. Can you tell me what your favorite color is, Jennifer?
People are going to think this is crazy. My favorite color is white.
Right. I'm going to ask our viewers to leave white hearts in the comment section to support Jennifer on her biological journey and just give her that support and love. And thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And because your sense of identity is more important than other people's secrets.
Thank you so much for all your help.
You're welcome. It's truly an honor. Truly an honor. I'm so pleased to be able to help.